Arjuna says, Mat anugrihaya paramam guyam adhyatma samgitam yat tvayuktam vachastena muhyam vigato mama. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion have now been dispelled. So this chapter reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. He is even the cause of the Mahavishnu from whom the material universe emanate. Krishna is not an incarnation, he is the source of all incarnations. That has been completely explained in the last chapter. So the last chapter was called Vibhuti Yoga. So there Krishna, he showed all his opulences. And he said that he is the source of everything in the universe. If you remember, there was this 4 seed verses there. What do you call them? Anybody remember the 4 seed verses?
Sorry, what?
The 4 seed verses of the Bhagavad Gita.
Ah, yes. Was it Mano? That just become my devotee verse?
No, that's the Sharanagati verse. That's another one. That's the verse for surrender. But the 4 seed verses is like summing up the whole thing in a nutshell.
Okay, I can't even remember what chapter it was.
It's in chapter 10. So because I'm just giving a little flashback to previous lesson when we were going through chapter 10. Because there is the seed verses. So these verses are saying that Krishna is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartata. Everything emanates from me, he says. And then he says, what are the devotees doing? Matchitta matkala budayanta parasparam. Devotees are always discussing his katha, his activities, and enlightening one another. Yeah. So these are the seed verses. Because Prabhupada said that it has been completely explained in the last chapter that Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So that's why I'm just alluding to what was spoken there.
You said there were 4 seed verses, or were there?
Yeah, no, there are 4. Yeah, there are 4. It's 10:8, 10:9, 10:10, and 10:11.
Okay, so the first 2 are the enjoyer and the devotees.
The first one, Krishna says that he is the one who from what everything emanates. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajantamam buddha bhava samanvita. He says those who are intelligent, they will worship me because I am the source of everything. Next verse, he talks about the activities of his devotees. Matchitta matkata prana buddhayanta parasparam katayantas chamam nitya tushanti charamanticha. Devotees are getting pleasure from speaking about him in the association with each other. And then the third one, it says Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvaka. Those who are his devotees, they are always working to do progress. And in that way, Krishna, he gives them intelligence. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yem namam upayanti te. The 4th verse is saying that as an effect of the devotees engaging so nicely, the Lord in the heart, he's as a bonus, he destroys their ignorance. Yeah. I forgot how it goes, but anyway, he says, that he has the jnana deep and abharshvata. He has the torchlight of knowledge in the heart, which just destroys all the ignorance.
Right.
Yeah. So, but Arjuna, he's still not finished. Now he wants to have proof. He wants to have something called Bhagavan Sakshatkara. He wants to directly see the Lord with his eyes. Actually, devotees are after, to have a direct, vision of the Lord. So that's why this chapter is called Vishvarupa Darshan Yoga. Yoga here in each chapter in the Bhagavad Gita is called yoga. So Yoga means like in this connection it means like episode. Just like you have a TV serial, you have episode 1, 2, 3, and there is like a subtitle. So in that way you have chapter 11, and that's called Vishvarupa Darshan Yoga, which means seeing the universal form. Yeah, does it make sense?
Eventually, probably.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. I've been told, I maybe have to slow down sometimes and kind of spoon feed the instructions or information. So just tell me when I should do that.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot to digest, especially when we talk about the universal form. Then you have the whole universe. So it's actually impossible to digest. So
I guess, yeah.
so that's why Arjuna, after some time, he had enough. He will ask Krishna again to assume, his his normal form. That's more easy to deal with. So every time we talk about the opulence of the Lord, how big He is, how all these mystical things, then we are dealing with the Aishwarya aspect of the Lord. And for devotees who are very personal, like Arjuna has a relationship with Krishna as a friend, and that is usually too much. So that's why I know so many devotees, for them it's actually too much, because they actually have a higher relationship. Because such talk will actually kind of it will downplay the more intimate relationships that one can have with Krishna.
I guess it's a little bit difficult even to talk to him when it's like that, infinite mouths, infinite hands.
It's actually a terrible form. Yeah, it's a terrible form. He says actually Ghora Rupa. It's terrible. So that's why devotees, they are not too interested, unless there are many devotees who actually are more universal. They like the idea to relate with God as everything, and not as something not as something very personal. So with these devotees, this chapter is a feast. So anyway.
So is this universal form, is that also the Supreme Brahman or the Absolute Truth?
Yeah, it is. Everything is in there. This kind of thing, like a khichdi, you can have so many things. And if the khichdi is really nicely, cooked, you will actually still see the differences. You have another khichdi where it's completely, everything is blended with each other. You cannot separate the rice from the dal in the khichdi. But if somebody is a good cook of khichdi, you will actually be able to discern, the rice, the dal, the different kinds of vegetables, even the spices. You may be able to, sort. So in that sense, that's actually what we want as devotees, that we are simultaneously one and different.
It's the real art.
What do you say?
I said it's a real art.
Yeah, it's a real art, yeah. Because it seems to be more easy to just blend everything together and then get rid of all the problems.
I guess, I don't know. I wanted to get technical with the cooking stuff, but we can go stick to the or the eternal form.
No. You please. You have some something with the cooking that we can use here. That's just interesting, because we actually need examples so we can get this down to our own earth.
You need good knowledge, or at least knowledge about each ingredient and how they per se interact with each other, as well as the medium, which is the rice is sort of like the medium that it's in.
Yes, exactly. So we actually need a little bit of knowledge to deal and make make something nice. Yeah. Out of all this.
Spiritual knowledge is even helpful in making khichdi.
Yeah. Exactly. So Yeah. So this, in one sense, this chapter is not that philosophical. It's just basically a description of the universal form here.
I think it's very interesting for a lot of the scientists to try to understand.
Yeah, definitely. It's not really new even. Krishna, he has shown his universal form before, actually, if I'm not wrong. He showed it to Duryodhan at one point.
Oh, to
Duryodhan, yeah. Yeah,
I never thought that.
Yeah, then you have a little less, you can say, less expanded version of the universal form. It's just a little shorter.
Yeah. But Krishna also says that, behold, all the wondrous things, whatever you wish to see is in this form. And also he says, I thought he mentioned that the things that no one has ever seen before, behold at once.
Yes, exactly. So in that way, it's like a wish-fulfilling tree now for Arjuna. And in that way, you can understand what Arjuna is seeing. He is very, concerned about, the outcome of the war. So actually, he's getting he's getting some spoilers. He actually sees, what's going to happen. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's because of Arjuna's own mindset that he sees this. Say if it was somebody else, he would see something else. What's in his own life. But since it's Arjuna, we see specifically, we are reading specifically what's concerning Arjuna in the universal form. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So you should consider yourself lucky if you get Vishvarupa Darshan. Then it should be easy to surrender. I'm sorry, what did you say? Duryodhan, he just you can say he becomes momentarily he gives her a lot of respect.
Okay, I get it.
But then again, again he's back to his old ways.
Yeah, from what I understood, when he's lamenting after the sacrifice of Yudhishthir, it's like he's so very eager to see the Pandavas, fail and become, have the greatest kingdom and be the most royal king and all this.
Exactly, yeah.
So this is more important.
What did you say?
No, these goals are more important to him than worshipping any Krishna or God or anything. It seems
100%, yeah. You can say, it was not really that great, it was not really the same, Vishvarupa that Arjuna saw. For one, it said, it didn't really need divine eyes to see that universal form he showed to Duryodhan, because Duryodhan is not a devotee, right?
No.
Yeah.
But do you know anything? I don't. Maybe need to focus on the Arjuna form Krishna is showing right now on the battlefield.
Yeah. So now we're going to actually read that. Arjuna is saying, let's see, just give me a second. Arjuna is now going to say, let's see. He say, now I'm text 2. O lotus-eyed one, I've heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity, and have realized your inexhaustible glories. Yeah, so Arjuna is addressing Lord Krishna as lotus-eyed. So I mentioned this yesterday, that this lotus is very much used. It's because it happens to be the most beautiful flower. But all these worldly examples, they actually can only be used up to a certain limit, because actually Krishna is more beautiful than that.
Sorry.
What was that? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on the street.
Oh, you're on the street there. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, yeah. And then Arjuna is continuing to say, O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Yeah, so we have 8 verses now in the beginning of the 11th chapter. It kind of is the intro before the full universal form is displayed. Yeah. And the reason is because in 10th chapter, Krishna has sparked Arjuna's interest, because in the 10th chapter Krishna is revealing everything. He says, I'm the source of everything. I'm in the beginning, I'm in the middle, I'm in the end. So he really has established there that he is Bhagavan. So now Arjuna, he's very interested to actually see now a demonstration. Yeah, so in verse 4, Arjuna says, if you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. Yeah, and then Krishna is answering here. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Pashyame Partha Rupani Shata Shota Sahasrashaha Nana Vidhani Divyani Nana Varna Kritini Cha. The Supreme Personality of God had said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine and multicolored forms. So he says, multicolored. So in that way we can understand this is a show. Yeah. Lord wants to entertain Arjuna, right? Otherwise, why would he say, that there is so many colors? Does it make sense? He wants to, he wants to give Arjuna a blast, a great show.
Yeah, I think we get it. To make him believe it, maybe, or what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To give him a nice impression. So Krishna is now going to show off. Yeah, just like if somebody was wondering about Superman. I mean, a stupid example. Are you actually Superman? And then Clark Kent, he will go in. What does he usually do? He went into the phone booth and he just changed his clothes there, and then he comes out and shows himself in the full costume. So do you believe me now? Do you believe me now that I'm Superman? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. Now a really good picture.
Yeah. So otherwise, he is concealing his identity. He really is. Krishna is just keeping a low profile. Actually, he doesn't show off. What he can do actually. So it's said that this is also one of the opulences of the Lord. It's his, humility. So he's not giving his Vishvarupa, darshan so easily. He's keeping himself hidden. He's playing actually the part of a human being. That's part of his having a lila in this material world.
He's even having this huge mechanism of different people acting, material manifestation. It's such a grand thing, such a big play.
Exactly. It's very, very wonderful. So let's see what happens now. Yeah. So now Krishna is saying, Pashyadityan vasun rudran ashvinau marutastata bahuni adrishta purvani pashyascharyani bharata. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring this to note that when Krishna is showing off, he shows off, also, the devatas, his administrator gods in the material world. So whenever we think about the demigods, we could think about them as Krishna's, wonderful, wealth. Yeah, it's like a king, showing his kingdom. Yeah. So in that way, all of these demigods, they would naturally then remind us of Krishna. Just like if you are in the kingdom and you see some great palace, you see some great park, or what else do kings, manifest? They manifest, a huge fortress, some great, military machines. In many countries, like we celebrate 17th of May here, our national day, we don't have, tanks going around in the street. But, in other countries they're showing off their military, opulence. Actually, Krishna is also doing that. he shows, his power. Yeah. So here is mentioned, Adityas. So these are, basically they are 12 demigods, 12 leaders of the gods, really, headed by the sun god. Vasus, they are the elemental gods. They are 8 in number. That is, for example, the fire god, the air god, the water god, like that. And then the Rudras. So these are the manifestations, also known as Shiva. All the Shiva and all his expansions. So they're heavy, actually heavy beings. Anger, Shiva is manifested from anger. So the Rudras are known for having heavy temperament, and they are known as like the what you call the Ganas of Shiva. That means his group of people, all ready to fight and make a hell on earth if you mess with them. Yeah. Okay, and then Ashwini Kumaras. These are actually only 2. That's the celestial physicians. So if you are in the heavenly planets and you get a flu or something, then you can call them. I'm just joking, but they're actually those who take care of the health. I mean, I don't know really how it works, but I think they're just in charge of the health department actually for us here on earth. One can pray to them to get blessings for one's health. Does it make sense? So they
to be honest, I struggle a little bit with it, but yeah, please continue.
You think it's a little bit weird?
No, I don't think I exactly get what you are saying, but
I'm saying these are 2 demigods. They are known as the twins. See, I'll try and bring it back to home. In astrology, even Western astrology, you have a astrological sign. It's the twins, right?
Gemini.
Yeah, these are the Ashwini Kumaras.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same 2 persons. Scholars have traced it back. It's the same, It comes from the same. Astrology is coming from the same culture. So these are gods for our 2 nostrils, the left and the right, because they were born out of or their birth is connected with the 2 nostrils of the Ashwini, or the female horse. So their mother was the mother of the sun god, but at that time she had taken the form as a horse. So sun god was also taking a form of a horse, and thus these 2 boys were born by that union, and so they were related with the left and right nostril, and these are essential for health because our breathing is going through these 2, right? In Ayurveda, if some or other you can do pranayama properly, that means breathing properly, through these 2 nostrils, then you can ward off a lot of diseases even. And health can be pretty nicely established. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go on. See if there is some more gods manifested by Krishna here. He says in text 7, O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. Yeah, so Prabhupada says in the purport, no one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Even the most advanced scientist cannot see what is going on in other parts of the universe. But a devotee like Arjuna can see everything that exists in any part of the universe. Krishna gives him the power to see anything he wants to see, past, present, and future. Thus, by the mercy of Krishna, Arjuna is able to see everything. Yeah, so to have this vision of the past, present, and future, that's connected with the 3 eyes. Shiva has 3 eyes called Trikalagya. So with the 3rd eye, one is able to see, everything.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So by the mercy of Krishna, then Arjuna, he was now a Trikalagya, because he past, present, and future. So in text 8, Krishna says, Natu mam shakshase drashtum ane naiva svar chakshusa divyam dadamitir chakshuhu pashyameyam aishwaram. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. So hereby the intro is now finished. At this point in text 8, in mantra 8, now he's giving him the eyes to actually see. So before this, actually, it has just been mere theory. Krishna has just explained to him what he is going to see, but now he's actually going to see it. Yeah. So in the same way, we're practicing Bhakti Yoga, and we hear about Krishna's form, but our project is to some or other, at the end of the day, get the Sakshatkara, direct vision of the Lord. That's our goal. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I think I follow what you're saying.
Yeah. If we are personalists, otherwise we would be happy to just live in this kitchery, you can say, of the material world.
Yeah, but you can have like both ideas in head at the same time, can't you? Like non-dual or what they call it.
Yeah, non-dual. Yeah. At one point, one has to give it up because. Well, actually, you have both of them at the same time. It's a very good question you give, sir. It said that our vision is achintya, is inconceivable, but it's beda, abeda tattva. It's both simultaneously one and different. So it becomes something like the kitchery I talked about. It is like a mix, but in the mix you will see the different things, which make up the mix. Yeah. So you can say Brahman is made up of everything. Everything that you can conceive of, everything that exists is Brahman. Those who like to merge with Brahman, they are interested in Nirguna Brahman. So I'll write that here on the YouTube, so anybody can have a reference there later. So Nirguna Brahman, that is the goal of the impersonalists. And that means, the non-distinctive, yeah. Absolute, yeah. And then we have Saguna Brahman. So that is the absolute with distinctions. So the good news for us, although it's more difficult to enter the Saguna Brahman, it is that we will retain our personality. You will still be you. That's the good news. So in my opinion, it's worth the struggle. Everybody's talking today that one should be like a strong person, right? So that's the whole project. If you're able to go through all this mess and still be a person at the end of the day, we will be, in a pretty good shape. So that's why it really is said personalist. It is a person with a big P, yeah. And the impersonalist is the impersonalist with a big I, because it really is. They don't really want to be a person, okay? They really don't want to be that, and we really want to be a person. Yeah. So Prabhupada says in the comment here that a pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any form except his form with 2 hands. So this universal form, in other words, is not for us. A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind, but with spiritual eyes. Yeah, so to see the universal form of Krishna, Arjuna is told not to change his mind, but his vision. Universal form of Krishna is not very important. That will be clear in subsequent verses. Yet because Arjuna wanted to see it, the Lord gives him the particular vision required to see that universal form. Yeah, and then Prabhupada is doubling down now on the concept that, devotees are really not interested in seeing the universal form. He says, devotees who are correctly situated in transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulences. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, and the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulence. Thus, they are so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Full stop. Yeah. They don't even know that he's God. What to speak of seeing his universal form. Yeah, so next verse. Now Sanjaya is the narrator of this story. So he says, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the Personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. And now we get the description. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Yeah, and then we go on. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once in the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. So Prabhupada comments that what Arjuna saw was indescribable, yet Sanjaya is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjaya nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjaya, by the grace of Vyasa, could see whatever happened. Thus he now compares the situation, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomena. For example, thousands of suns. Yeah, so Sanjaya, he was also given divine eyes before this episode. He met Vyasadeva, who is an incarnation of Krishna, who gave us the Vedas. So he is the, in that way, Vyasa is the spiritual master of Sanjaya, so that's why Sanjaya can narrate the whole story, even though he wasn't personally there. So in the same way, when we get initiation from our spiritual master, then we are empowered to tell these stories, even though we were not there. So in that way, it's called Divya Gyan or Divya Shakshu. You remember we have had the Guru Puja and we sung that song, yeah? We said Divya Gyan. Ride Prokashito. Yeah? I write this here now on YouTube. So that means divine, knowledge revealed in the heart. Or instead of using the word revealed, we can say seen in the heart. Because it's actually, a vision. So that is what the Guru is giving us. And another one, which we learn from the Guru Puja song, is Shakudana Dilo Jai. Shakudana Dilo Jai. So this is in Bengal, so it's a little similar to Sanskrit. So Chakudan Dilo Jai means he who gives us divine eyes. So there you have it, divine eyes, Chakudan. Yeah. Okay, so at that time, next verse then, text 13, at that time Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansion of the universe, situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Well, the universe is quite big, but somehow or other Arjuna could see it all. Yeah, so Prabhupada says, they were just sitting on the chariot. Yeah, so then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. So if we ever see, the Lord's universal form, we probably would be a little bit humble as a result. Actually, usually we are quite puffed up because of the illusory energy of the Lord. Maya, she gives us the illusion that we are in control of what's happening. And especially because of the ego, we think that we are doing stuff. But actually we don't do nothing. It's all done by the material nature itself. But when the Lord is showing his universal form, then actually we understand how small we are. And then the proper relationship is established.
Sorry, could I ask for some clarification?
Yeah, please.
You said it is all from the material, but isn't it the other way around? Like everything is happening on the spirit realm, in lack of a better term, or?
I said it was in the material realm. But you say, isn't it otherwise? Isn't actually everything happening on the spiritual realm?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, at the end of the day, it's true. But at the moment, we cannot perceive that because we are so steeped in our material, identification. So that's why we have exercises like this, just to shake off, our material identification, to purify, our existence. Frankly, we are not really awake to the spiritual situation. The eyes are being awaked by hearing transcendental sound vibrations, by getting instructions. Say for example, if I want to if I want to understand, say the government of Norway, right? So right now I'm not awake to how the government of Norway is working. I really don't know. But if I talk with the people some people who are running the government, I go to classes, learning how actually the government works, then I can become awake to how Norwegian government works. I can start seeing it in my heart. So when I see the bus is going, I understand actually this was a political adjustment, that somehow or other the bus is going here, roads are being built. You have the postal department is actually also somehow arranged. Then I go around in the city and actually I can see how the government works by my intelligence, since I have taken instructions from the government people. So in the same way, until we have instructions how this world is working, we cannot actually perceive how it works. Yeah. So now Arjuna. So then bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances, and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. So similarly, if I went, repeatedly to the government experts, and I heard again and again, say I heard from the leader of the government, and before, I was just thinking, these government people are just, rascals. But after some time, I get actually respect for the government people, because I start to understand what kind of job they're actually doing. They get, often a lot of bad press. That's because people actually don't understand how hard they are working, right? So after going to the government people for, say, 1 month, 2-3 times a week, then in the end, I will just start crying. I get tears in my eyes, and I'm just so thankful. And I will even, I will give pranams, to the government leader and say, I'm sorry, that I thought, I was buying what they told about you in the media. I didn't know that you're actually such a nice person. You're offering, your comfort just to help us in the society by doing your hard work. You understand? In the same way with God. Until we know God, we think, bad thoughts about Him. We feel, it's unfair and all this. But Krishna is going to explain how everything is actually very fair. He's trying his best to arrange for us, for our happiness, actually.
Like operating at a level that at least I and probably we can't understand at this moment, but if we understood, if we actually could understand, we would be moved to tears in a way.
Exactly, that's the point. There are many examples of this in the real world, that people, we have misconceptions, or we have misgivings, that's the word actually. It said that we have misgivings about somebody because we don't know them.
Absolutely.
So in the same way, we have misgivings with God or Krishna because we actually don't know Him. But once we get to know Him, we will actually start loving Him. So I mean, now it becomes like, a little funny, but anyway. So say if you went to the government so much, taking instructions, and in the end, you just like them so much, so you say one day, you know what, guys, I will join you guys. I want to work for you, right? So then you enroll, in the official, government curriculum, that now you're actually going to be one of them, right? So it's the same thing with Krishna. After some time when studying under Krishna's representative, then finally one may feel that actually, I like this so much, I have now so much appreciation, so I want to join you and I actually want to work for you. So at that time one actually becomes an initiated devotee.
It makes me think, because I'm at the temple, right? It is like the way the themes you bring up and the things you say, like I it's very clear to me that you in some way know like what I need to hear, right?
Yeah.
So I think that maybe it's that kind of the same analogy that it's going to prove that there is something going on there. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the whole point. There is actually something going on. That's the whole point. We're not talking about something which is unreal. But these things are, very fine and subtle. That's the point. You see, this is on the high levels of existence. You can say the government and all this is on the adibautic level. What we are learning, from Bhagavad Gita is on the adidaivic and adhyatmic level. We learn how it works, with the nature itself, with personal, arrangement by gods, and then by the Supreme Lord on top of that. So this is then the knowledge which are in the sattva gun or goodness. Material knowledge are in the qualities of passion and ignorance. So in the same way as we are learning about, you can say, adibautic things or material affairs, we have to have diligence. We have to study and have a nice training program. So in the same way for understanding spiritual or divine matters. So now Arjuna is actually going to talk what he is seeing. Arjuna is now actually saying this for our sake. Because when he's there on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the other people, the normal people, cannot actually see nothing. Arjuna is having a vision and nobody else can see. But actually, when Bhagavad Gita is spoken, Krishna is speaking with Arjuna, and all the warriors, they're just standing around listening. They're paying attention like anything. So that's why he's talking loud, so the other people can hear and also, gain some benefit. Yeah. So let's see what Arjuna is saying now. So he says, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine servants." Yeah. So we get a little explanation here. Prabhupada says, Arjuna sees everything in the universe, therefore he sees Brahma, who is the first creature in the universe, and the celestial serpent upon which the Garbhodakashaya Vishnu lies in the lower regions of the universe. This snake bed is called Vasuki. There are also other snakes known as Vasuki. If you heard our exposition on Lord Shiva, then Shiva also has a snake around his neck with the name Vasuki. Yeah, so Arjuna can see from the Garbhodakashaya Vishnu up to the topmost part of the universe on the lotus flower planet where Brahma, the first creature of the universe, resides. That means that from the beginning to the end, everything could be seen by Arjuna, who was sitting in one place on his chariot. This was possible by the grace of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Yeah, so Brahma, he is the first created being in the universe. He's the creator God. And he's always sitting on the celestial lotus flower from where he conducts his activities. And that's, facsimiled in our own body also. On the top of our head is called the Brahmarandra. So through the yoga system, any kind of yoga system, we are actually moving our consciousness up to that point. And that's the seat of liberation.
Yes.
Yeah. So next verse, O Lord of the universe, of universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths and eyes, expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle and no beginning. Yeah, so if you look upon any picture, you can just write universal form of Krishna or something. You can get an idea. Many artists have tried to paint how it looks like. Yeah, actually,
it's like a rainbow. You cannot tell where one color begins or another ends, but you can definitely see there's differences, right?
That's nicely put. Yeah, exactly. It's an amazing display, and you can discern different things, but in one sense they all are blending together. Maybe in a feverish dream or something, you could have seen something like that. Where many things are just part of each other, right? At least I've had the experience when one has when you have a unbalance of the fire in the body, one can have fever, and then things are just blending together, and it becomes everything is kind of same time one but different.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the same within our body too, right? Like the heart and the brain and the eyes and the nose, and they're all components that make one entity. Yeah,
exactly. They're actually all part of the same. Still, we can distinguish them. It said in the spiritual world, then we are not different from our body. Both the body and the mind and ourself is of the same nature. All are chit shakti in the spiritual world. But in the material world, there is a difference between these things. We ourselves, as Atman, our soul, we are spiritual, but our body and our mind here are actually material. So, but when we start thinking spiritually, we grow. Our whole situation will gradually be spiritualized. Yeah. So Krishna, Arjuna is saying in text 17 now, your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. So if you see in the picture of the universal form, as also we put thumbnail of this universal form on YouTube, then you can see there actually Krishna has so many different eyes in the universal form. I mean heads, faces. He has so many faces, multi-faced. Yeah. And all of the heads, they have crowns, and he has many hands holding all these weapons. Arjuna continues, you are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. You are without origin. Yeah?
I thought it was funny. He says it's his opinion.
Yeah. I also thought it was funny. Krishna also says sometimes, this is my... Yeah.
But it's like he's speaking like these eternal truths that are very substantial, and then like, it's my opinion.
Yeah. I think that when he speaks like this, it's to instruct the others. It's for the benefit of the others.
Yeah.
So because Arjuna, he is somebody. He is really somebody. Everybody's looking up to him.
Oh yeah.
He has a great position. So somebody, when they have a great position and many people are following them, they are influencers. Then
and also
people want to know what they think.
Because sometimes he refers to I have learned by disciplic succession, and then it's not his opinion. But now he's seeing directly. That means I guess it's his opinion, because he's witnessing it.
Exactly, and nobody else is seeing it. So this is going to be very, very personal, just from him. Yeah, in one sense, it's also a sign of humility. It means that Arjuna is giving some room that other people may interpret it differently. So Arjuna is not biased. He's saying what he thinks, and he says, okay, maybe somebody else they may think differently, and I'm okay with that. So devotee is not a fanatic. He says, this is my opinion. Yep. So that means he's not forcing. It's important that we remember that we're not forcing anybody to agree with us. If somebody wants to take any other path, we're completely fine with that. We can still, coexist. No problem. Actually, even within, the group of devotees, every devotee will differ a little bit, because everybody has their own, personality and mood. So,
can I ask a little bit of a metaphysical question?
Sure.
We talked earlier today about collective dream, right?
Yeah.
But it also seems to, even though we live in a shared reality, it also seems to be like we live in our own reality at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
That was all.
Yeah.
I just wondered how this works there, but yeah, please continue.
Yeah, it's true. It's shared, and at the same time we have our own. So we kind of bumping into each other. It's said that Balaram in one place in the Bhagavatam, he's explaining like that. It's just like you have straws in the river, and sometimes these straws are gathering together. For some time it looks like they're part of the same family, but then again the waves are going, and again these straws become separated forever. They will never come back together again.
That's a little sad.
Yeah, it is a little sad.
Whoa.
But he's instructing that when somebody, I think it was in a connection with somebody has died, because this is a situation that we were coming together, and then we may be separated again, because there is so unlimited living people. But in another sense, it's not sad, because we are not really. Sorry to say, but people don't actually need us; they need God, right? we are not God. So in that way, it's not sad. We don't have any problem with that. Let them live their life. They can meet other people, but let them be together with God. Then they will be fine.
Yeah, that's actually part of his teachings, Krishna.
What did you say? I lost your sound.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on the train, so it's a bit rough on the edges.
Yeah, it's okay. But anyway, you probably said something good, so I appreciate it. Yeah.
But can I add something?
Sure.
Of course, I think it relates somewhat to personal, and I don't mean this in a grandiose sense. Of course not. I know that I'm limited, but aren't we all like an aspect of God?
Yeah. This is very nicely put. We are. We are just tiny. We are small sparks. The technical term is that we are like Surya Amsha Kirana. We are just like the sun is God, and we are just small sparks of the sun. So we have the same nature, spiritual nature, but our influence is pretty limited. However, we can be instruments in the hand of the Lord, and then we can be as powerful as He wants us to be. On our own, we may be quite weak. We sometimes we are strong, but it's coming and going like that. But spiritually, we can be quite okay if we are doing the job of God. Yeah. So so now in text 19, then Arjuna, he continues now glorifying Krishna. He says, "You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes." So from this point on, whenever we see the sun or moon, we can think that these are the eyes of the Lord. So the moon would be the left eye, and the sun would be the right eye. Because sun is always representing the right side, which is the masculine side. Sun is representing the masculine principle, and moon is representing the feminine principle, which is left. So the left part of the body also is the feminine side, and the right part of our own body is also the masculine side. Yeah. So and I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. And then, although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. And then, all the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings, crying all peace, are praying to you by singing Vedic hymns. So they start, actually there are other people now seeing it, but it's only the demigods who can see, not the people on the earth planet, unless of course they are divine people, devotees. So now we can see, those who actually saw what Arjuna saw. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishvedevas, the two Ashvis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. Oh, so that's great. So now we can take a look at all these different, can you say races being described, or what do you call them, tribes? So there are a few ones. The first ones was, the associates of Shiva. In Sanskrit it says Rudra. So as I explained before, first, the original Rudra is Lord Shiva himself, and he expands himself in so many forms. And in general, all his followers are called Rudras. And they are very fiery people. They're ready to fight at the shortest notice. Sometimes when somebody has been, displeasing Shiva, or made him angry like that, then he sends all his ganas, all his Rudras on them. And they are completely, making a havoc. As in the example of when Daksha, he was blaspheming Shiva. Then Shiva, he sent his Rudras to mess up Daksha's sacrifice. And they just completely devastated the whole place and killed also all of Daksha's soldiers, including beheading Daksha himself. Daksha's head was actually replaced with the head of a goat. Yeah, so these are, fierce people.
Are we talking like fanatic fairs, or are we talking like warrior? If you know what I mean.
I missed the word you were saying there. Can you try and spell it again?
Are we talking like animal fairs, or are we talking like brave?
Animal fairs.
Are we talking about like a crazy animal going berserk? Are we talking about more?
No, they are people. They are humanoid in form.
Okay.
But they're like terrible looking. Yeah.
Okay.
You can try and look it up, Rudras. You will get the idea. They're very fiery people. It's the kind, the worst people you would, they're celestial destructors. Because Lord Shiva is in charge of destruction. So when he comes with his hosts of Ganas or Rudras, then, it's going to be a great destruction taking place. Yeah. So, in other words, very, very, fear-inducing these people. And then Adityas was already mentioned. They are, the nice people, the demigods headed by the sun god. So Vasus was also mentioned before. They are the elemental gods. And then Sadhyas, let's see, what was that? That's another group of devatas. I guess they're kind of in the same, what do you call, group, or same kind of stature as Gandharvas and Apsaras. They're like semi-demigods. They're not the highest gods. But these are gods who are powerful when it comes to art and music and also fighting. Things like that. Yeah. And then Vishvas is another group of devatas. They are also very great in number. Called Vishvadevas, I think. Yeah, Vishvadevas is that area. And then you have the Ashvis again. We mentioned before the two celestial physicians. And then the Maruts. So sometimes the Maruts are also called, as part of Shiva's group. But basically they're described in the Gita and Bhagavatam. They are described as the wind gods specifically. So all the different kinds of winds. You sometimes have a very nice breeze, and then you have a turbulent wind. You can have a hurricane or a storm, right? So all these are different Maruts who are doing these different kinds of wind. They're described as, they have different names for each of these features. And then you have the forefathers. So the forefathers. Let's see what is that called in the Sanskrit. Ushmapa. Yeah. So that will be something similar to the Pitris. That means the forefathers who were living before us. Forefather ancestors. Yeah.
Would you mind spelling it for me?
Forefathers.
No, the Sanskrit term.
Yeah, Pitris. P-I-T-T-R-E. Pitri. Yeah. So this is a huge concept. Even I heard that in Asia, many places like outside our Vedic style, they're also worshipping their forefathers, like in Japan or China, like that.
They used to do the same here around Rome.
We used to do in Viking culture also.
I know that. No, I'm talking about Rome, no. But I know they had like a whole
Rome.
Ritual where they would make a mosque out of the places of their ancestors, and they would hang around the house, so they could see the mosque of their ancestors, and they had a ritual each year where they would take the mosque on and stuff like that.
Well, what is mosque? You mentioned mosque. What is that?
No, mosque.
Mosque. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so forefather, worship is a great thing. We're not so much into that in the Vaishnava line. It's said that because Krishna is saying that if you become a devotee of Krishna, then your forefathers are going to be liberated automatically. So, but otherwise, it's a great tradition for Hindus to always make sure the forefathers are happy. They do annual rituals to keep the forefathers happy. Yeah. But we just try to be devotees, and then we hope forefathers are gaining maximum out of that. And then we have Gandharvas. So these are the musicians proper. There's simply every good music is originally coming from them. If anybody is good at instruments, they are blessed by the Gandharvas.
There's a lot of musical talents at the temple, and I noticed.
And they're also very beautiful, and they're also very good fighters also. And then you have what do you say?
Did you say very good fighters?
Yeah, they're also good fighters. Passionate people, but divine. Yeah. And then you have yakshas. So these are the what you call these are the protectors of wealth. You can say all the bankers are coming from them. So everybody who is protecting gold, protecting huge amounts of money like that, they have some yaksha nature in them.
Are we talking like literal physical money?
No, because we are all in the divine realm now.
Okay.
So nothing is really that much physical, but we're talking about the principles which are the cause of the physical. Understand? So they are the cause of what we are touching now. Here in the Adibautica realm, they are invisibly in charge of that, or influencing that. Yeah.
I think I can where you're going, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like in our own existence also. When we're operating in our life, our operations with our body is influenced by our mind, right? How we're thinking.
Yeah.
So that's why all these people who want stuff to happen, they give you motivational courses. You have to work with your mindset in order to achieve something physically. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on the high level, one is contacting gods to achieve the same thing. Yeah. Because actually their blessings or curses are actually giving a greater effect than we actually think. Because I may train myself up and like that, but if I don't have a good relationship with these gods, still after all my hard work to have good motivation to be skilled and so on, still I may get some bad karma in there, which just completely destroys the whole thing, right? If I have a curse on me, yeah.
If you have?
If I have a curse on myself, So
Sorry, I
say for example, if I have a bad karma for doing business, I can have all the best plans in the world, but some or other there will happen something, because we don't control the destiny. Some stuff may happen. I may even do my business good for some time, then something happens which is beyond my control, and then the business goes bankrupt, simply because of my bad karma, my bad relationship with the business gods. But if I'm smart, I will first of all, before I start my training, I will first of all make sure I have a good relationship with the gods who are in charge of those energies. And then I will start doing my physical training, so to speak. And then it will be a blessed venture then and then we'll be much more sure to have a successful endeavor. Yeah. So that's the idea with this whole thing. And of course, as we always say, for devotees of Krishna, they may even nonchalantly just depend on Krishna for everything. They may not contact the demigods for that. They simply just work for Krishna, and whatever Krishna gives, they're happy.
Krishna is for bhakti, right?
Yeah, so that is bhakti, because for them, for devotees, the loving relationship with Krishna is the all in all. Notwithstanding, material success or not. Yeah, and then the next category here is the asuras. So they are the demons. Suras are called the demigods, and asuras are called the demons. So these are the people we hear stories about. They all get to their position by doing something called tapasya, austerities. They usually do the austerities to please Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma. So they may sit even for thousands of years with grueling austerities, controlling their breaths, minimizing their eating and so on, living in celibacy and completely foregoing all material enjoyment. And in that way they are getting a lot of power, so that later on they can become great conquerors of the whole world. So much so that the asuras back in the day, they were actually going up to the heavenly planets and taking over. Yeah. So they are demons in the proper sense of the term. And then lastly we have the perfected demigods. So that is the siddhas, mentioned in the Sanskrit here. That means those who actually they have gotten mystical power, so they can actually travel where they want to go, for example. So all of them are beholding Krishna and being amazed by him. And then text 23 is saying, O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. So Arjuna is not mindful. He's not practicing mindfulness at the moment. He's losing his mind. Yeah. So he says, O Lord, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouths. And some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. Yeah, so in the previous verse, the Lord, he promised to show Arjuna things that he would be very interested in seeing. So by Krishna's grace, now Arjuna sees that the leaders of the opposite party, that means Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra, and their soldiers, and Arjuna's own soldiers also, are all being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled at Kurukshetra, the place of the war, then Arjuna will emerge victorious, because he sees that everybody else is going to die, but he's not. Yeah. Yeah. So next text. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths, as moths dash to destruction in the blazing fire. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primeval Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. Yes, so he's now very scared, and so soon the Lord is going to speak. But while we're waiting for that, do you have any comments or questions?
No, I also want to know what his mission is.
Yeah.
It seems like almost Arjuna is like almost lamenting, like he's wishing back for Krishna, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't like what he sees.
Yeah, he doesn't understand. He's bewildered, completely shaken, you know.
Exactly, because now he sees a feature of the Lord which is destructive by nature. Like Krishna said, Nashaya, this is meant for destruction. Yeah, that's all. Like if you have a friend and your friend turns into the universal form, ready to destroy the whole universe, would you be happy?
Is it like...
Eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, because when you become universal, you disappear.
Yeah, it's like you would even feel afraid for your own safety.
You become like one with... No?
The point is that Arjuna, he's seeing that he's actually surviving. But he sees all other people being destroyed.
Yeah.
So actually for most people, most
Premise of the Gita.
yeah, that is that Arjuna will be saved. But
And also, he's so much worried about these people being smashed, you know.
yeah, I mean Arjuna is an emotional person. Okay,
Yeah.
he's ready to fight like that, but he also he actually don't like that people are dying.
Yeah, Kshatriya.
Yeah, Kshatriya likes to protect, but as a duty, he also has to kill. And to get this kind of even you can say decent stability for killing, he has to train himself first by killing animals. So hunting is a part of the Kshatriya's business. Just like in the military, they are training to shoot on very lifelike objects, right? Before they are sent to some place, in another country to fight for FN or like United Nations.
The target is like a human being. It's like a man. Silhouette.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back in the day, they didn't look so much like humans, but now I'm sure they have very, very lifelike training.
And humans are also with our physical bodies are like that silhouette in a way.
What was your question?
You said that they train on lifelike, I don't know, silhouettes or what you call them. Are is Matthias also like a silhouette, if you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. I talked about how they're training in the military.
Yeah, but they're training on let's just say like a very lifelike doll then, right?
Yeah.
Can the physical body of us, of you and I and everybody else, can that also be seen as just like a doll? Is that what you're trying to get across?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, please don't misunderstand me. We are not like adults,
No, I know that. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about what maybe you would call like the gross. I don't know. Maybe it's best I just stand here and continue listening.
No, please.
Meant for the change of the material body, then yes, it's like changing of clothes, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we're training. I mean, if we would ever go to war, we wouldn't train by shooting live people. No.
No, of course not. I have no plans to. I'm not talking about acting it out. Of course not. I'm just wondering, if like metaphorically, sorry, just forget it.
No. Please, continue.
you say that the ABC of this thought was like you are not the body, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was kind of what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
Me too, and I think you're correct on that.
Yeah, I mean, forget about all this military training, okay? We are pacifists. I was not going in the military myself. You know, I didn't want to be in the military, okay? The point is that, you know, these are for the Kshatriya. And forget about the Kshatriya also. You know, there are no Kshatriyas on the planet now. Whenever we are going to fight, you know, we're just going to fight on the internet, okay?
All right.
It's not going to be no physical fighting for us at all, okay? So the thing is just that I was just giving the example that that Kshatriyas back in the day, in order to actually be able to fight for real, they were training by shooting animals, by hunting. They were hunting for, you know, rabbits or foxes or deers or like that. And probably in the military, they I don't know if they're also hunting for animals. Whatever they do, they are training, you know, on you know, computer games or whatever, and then they will be ready to be sent to war. That was just yeah.
I thought it was more, you know, pointing out the symbolism that the silhouette of was kind of similar to identifying with the material body, in the sense that the soul is actually separate from the material body in a sense also.
Yeah, I mean, in that way, actually, Krishna, he says that actually, later he's going to say that to Arjuna, that actually, he tells Arjuna, what are you worried about? They're actually not going to die. You just work for me because they're not going to die, because the soul is eternal. Yeah.
You should rather be joyful because they change the bodies into more youthful, you know, favorable bodies.
Yeah, exactly. So you can say it works like that, yeah.
But at the same time, you know, he also identifies in a later chapter ahimsa, non-violence, as one of the key qualities also.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So it's like this situation where it's like seeming contradiction, but there is really no contradiction.
Yeah. Actually, ahimsa, it means minimized, minimum violence. Yeah. It doesn't mean absolutely no violence. It just means at a very minimum. Yeah, and I gave this example before. Yeah.
Say a person in general is not violent. He's friendly to every living being, you know, and he sees them as their equals. You know, we are the same.
Yeah, and that ahimsa is practiced physical and mental, and also by words, to be non-violent. Yeah. So that's a very important thing for Vaishnavas or devotees to practice.
And he also says that it's very, very important to note that all these qualities are created by Krishna alone.
Yes, that's the point.
That's maybe the most important thing.
Yeah, they're not created by some modern philosopher.
No, it's not like you should never harm any living entity. Well, in technicality it's true, but it's Krishna who defines what is harm and what is not harm.
Yeah, because sometimes people are even arguing that they say, you know, you guys are vegetarians because you want to be non-violent, right? And then they say, but you're harming, you know, the vegetable. You know, because they're also alive. And it's true, actually. They also experience pain and discomfort. They have actually measured.
For like a grass, but not for a fruit, right? Because a fruit tree will produce fruit regardless, and it will, you know, drop the fruit.
Yeah, so that's why that's kind of the highest level of ahimsa for those who are into that. There are people who wants to, fruitarians. They only eat fruits, you know, which has, and even, you know, some are taking it that far. They only eat fruits which fall by themselves, so that they're not even picking it.
That's very funny. But I also think that, you know, if done properly, and it's not very difficult even. Milk also is completely ahimsa, you know.
Yeah. That's actually said to be the best one, because the cow is giving milk out of love only, actually, out of affection.
Exactly. Like paternal, motherly affection.
Yeah, so, you know, there are 7 mothers, and the cow is one of the 7 mothers.
But I guess the cow eats grass, so if you don't, but it's actually favorable for the grass when the cow grazes on it, isn't it? I thought it was very good for the grass.
Yeah. You know, but the point is actually when you go through what happens in the material world, everybody is killing somebody. It's said that we kill in 5 different ways every day. So it's said that the 5 different ways is by breeding. Some or other, there is very small living entities we kill by breeding.
Yeah.
When we're scratching our skin, there are entities on our skin we kill. When we're drinking water, there is entities actually being in the water. We can't see them, but they are killed. And when we're making fire, then also entities are dying by the fire. Was there a 5th one? I don't remember. Did I say all 5?
Well, one is for each of them different mediums. I thought.
Yeah. So in order to counteract these 5 different killings every day, to be considered pious according to the Vedic system, then we have to do yajna. We have to do some sacrifice to the gods, to the living entities, to humans in general, like that. But of course,
but really, it's only to the Supreme Lord that
yes.
is actually.
So actually, when we practice Bhakti Yoga, then we're all covered for all of these things simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra as the main yoga. Then every other thing is covered for.
I remember it was either Mahababi or Tubanga painted the beautiful picture. He said that like pleasing Krishna is like watering the root. And by watering the root, the whole tree benefits.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in that way, we are, we are having a very nice, way to be in good standing, in this universe, simply by chanting the whole name of the Lord. Yeah. So I think actually we've stopped there because it's like a natural break now, building up to when Krishna is going to speak. So that we'll do tomorrow. So please be ready for tomorrow. Then we have text 32.
Yeah, please. What?
That will be at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, and 10:32. Yeah.
11:32.
11:32. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Amoga, there's also an update for the temple. If you close the stream, I will tell you after.
Yeah, sure. Hare